I'm Alex Radical from Board Game Co, and today I'm reviewing Monkey Palace from LEGO and Asmodee. Monkey Palace is a 2 to 4 player LEGO building game that is, LEGO. It's LEGO in a board game in which the goal is not to build LEGO structures for the sake of building LEGO structures, rather the goal is building LEGO structures for the sake of gaining victory points and winning the game. A small but very important difference. This represents a new collaboration, I believe, between LEGO and Asmodee. I guess that what I've heard, or seem to have heard, is that I think this is the first of multiple games to come, but this is the one we're going to be focusing on today, a 2 to 4 player game of trying to build LEGO bricks and trying to get as many points as possible as you build these bridges or arches upwards in the game. You see, the basic idea of the game is it's a tableau building game. Players are going to start with resources based on the player board over here. So for example, you start with just those two small little pips over here, as well as, here we go, we got 1, 2, as well as one of these arches over here, and then your goal is to go ahead and take them, putting them on the board with the goal of getting as high as possible, getting points for each archway you construct. That's the general idea. You are getting points for arches you construct, and it's your goal to try to figure out how many arches you can get into the game, but also how high you can build. You see, taking advantage of what other players have built will effectively give you free placements so you don't need as much support. When you're trying to build something up, you will get points for each arch in your structure, but you're also going to get points for going higher and being able to put various decorations that have not yet been seen at that height into the game. So there's a few things you're trying to balance, but also whatever you build is going to result in you getting these various cards over here. That's going to be the points you get, but also the tableau building. So you're trying to basically generate monkey points to buy these cards, which will give you banana points. I know there's a lot of monkey points and banana points, but that's basically what's going on here. And that will also help your tableau so you can get more going on to be able to rinse and repeat and do it better each time. So let's right now, based on a mid-game situation, let's try to show you how this would play out. Right now, I've acquired these cards in the game, which we'll talk more a bit about, but you'll see how this plays out over here. I'm going to go ahead and take these two that I've already seen, or these three that I've already seen, another small pip, another arch, another little tower over here, another arch, and then two more arches. This is what I'm trying to work with. Whoa, that's the wrong piece over there. Another arch over here, and this is what I'm trying to work with as I try to build them out over here. This is where you're going to have to bear with me for a second as I try to figure out the best way. I'm not going to be focusing the optimal move over here because I do want to just give you the experience. So we're going to try to work our way upwards as efficiently as possible. If I go that way, I could try to go that way. Nope, that's not going to work over there. I'm going to go this way. So what I'm going to do right now, I'm going to go ahead and take this. I'm going to place this down over here. That's going to be one piece that's going to give us our first arch over there. We're going to have our second arch going up over here. Our third arch is going to go on top. We're going to place a piece down over here and then take another arch, placing it up over here. That's going to be good over there. So we are making progress, which is not bad. I still have two more arches to place over here. So let's see if I can figure out a way to actually get them out, because I don't know if I actually can. I may have gone too ambitious in what I did over here. If I go like this, like so, and then like this over here, oh, I'm one shy. I'm one shy. You know what? Rather than redoing this entire thing, I'm just going to go ahead and get the extra piece. This is cheating. I just want to not rehash my entire turn. I'm going to take that one piece over here, put it underneath this, and then this is the tiny structure that I've effectively put onto this board. Let me just push it in there. There we go. I built one arch, which goes to another arch. Oh, I think I did this wrong. I think I messed up anyway. I think I somehow placed this. Oh no, this, by the way, we're going to come back to this, but this is the kind of situation that you're going to run into in the game. I don't think I actually needed that piece. I don't think I did. So that extra piece I took, we're not going to take that. Rather, what we're going to do is we're going to go over here, take this out over here, place this underneath over there, and then this can go over here like so, and we can place this over here like so, and I'll basically be winding up with an extra support, which is okay. You don't need to use everything, although you're going to lose what you don't use. So this is going to be gone over here. And I've done it. I've done it without needing any extra pieces, and now let's walk you through this over here. So I over here have the first arch, which goes to the second arch, which goes to the third arch, the fourth arch, and the fifth arch. I started on light green, which means I'm going to take the 5 monkey point light arch over there, except I can actually go ahead and take a decoration piece over here. I can take a decoration piece and put it at the top of my structure, and this is the highest time we've seen a golden brick at this level. You see, the two things that are going to give you points in the game is each arch you use as you build your way up is going to give you points. And again, using other pieces of components will help you get more height without having to pay your own support and structures. So I have 5 points for utilizing 5 archers. But I also placed a golden brick at the highest level that it's been in this game. In general, when you place a decoration, because there's 3 different types of decorations, there's the golden bricks, the light green foliage, and the dark green foliage. When you place those down on your your top arch, you're going to get an extra point if that's the highest place you've seen that decoration in the game, which it is for right now. So to that end, I effectively have a 6, and I start in light green over here, which is relevant because that means I can go ahead and take this card. Now, if I had a 5 in light green, because this is kind of wild, anyone can take this over here. If you have a 5 in light green, I could take this card, and for right now, I'm actually going to take this card just to show you how this could play out. In fact, technically speaking, I could take both cards. I could take a 5 and a 1. You can combine your monkey points how you want. But I'm going to take this card. This will immediately give us one of these, and then it's going to show us on the back the income that it gives us is that. You see, every single round, what you're going to get is you're going to get an immediate, well, every time you take a card, you potentially get an immediate effect, but you also get recurring bonuses. So now every round, I'm going to get all the stuff that I got last round, plus those 2 mini bricks. Now, as you gather more cards, you can only hold 4 on your tableau, so there is a limit to just how many new bricks you can bring each round, but effectively, when you gather these cards, you're going to be using them to go, when you gather these cards, you're using them to get more bricks, to be able to place down into this area over here, to be able to use those to generate more points to get either more cards for your tableau, or possibly if you get a size 6 over here, that's a 10-point card over there. And if you ever have a 5 height arch over there, so meaning it's directly a 5 piece, effectively 3 of these, or one of this, which is 3, and then 2 more ones. If you have a 5 height, you go ahead and get a 4 banana card as well. So you're trying to use your tableau to generate more pieces, to place them in there, to get more cards, and that'll be effectively the way you get points. Now, there's 2 other things going on in the game, or, well, one other thing I should say, but 3 other cards. There's going to be these trophy cards, which are the monkey, and we have 2 others over here. We have these 3 cards over here, which I just dropped over there, but you have these 3 cards, which are going to give you new small rules as far as different decorations or different creatures you're placing onto the grid. They'll give you a new rule as far as extra things you can do or blocking opponents or stuff like that in the game. That's basically what's happening in Monkey Palace. You're going to start on a clean slate of, well, mostly clean slate. There's actually a few pieces on the board. You're going to start on a mostly clean slate of this board. You're going to be trying to gather pieces into your tableau, build them up over here, trade them in for cards, get a better tableau, rinse and repeat until game end is triggered, which will happen when any type of piece over here, when any one type of piece, and the colors don't matter, by the way, they're just there for more of a visual effect over here, but when any one type of piece is removed, that will trigger the end of the game, see who has the most points, and score it all up, and that is Monkey Palace. Let's go ahead and dive into the review over here, starting off with ease of play. The game itself is not that complicated as far as general modern game design goes. I will say I did feel it was more complicated than what I would expect out of a Lego game. The rules itself feel a bit fiddly as far as it's not immediately clear what's happening and how it's happening. I do not think it is the most complicated game, not by a long shot. I also feel this game could have preserved the concept of what it's trying to do while trying to be simpler. I think this is the kind of game that someone who picks this game up at Target trying to look for a Monkey Palace Lego game might be a bit disheartened on how confusing the game's rules can be for potentially the target audience. Again, I'm trying to be very specific over here. I do not think it is the most complicated game. I think it was needlessly complicated given who the target audience for this game is. Past that, the game doesn't really outstay its welcome that well. It does, actually. It does outstay its welcome. We're going to come back to that. The game time itself runs around 45 to 60 minutes. Not too long, but that's the general experience as you try to build things up and score as many points as possible. As far as what I like, don't like, and can see that it's not liking, starting off with what I like, there's a few basic things here, starting with the tableau building. The tableau building is going to be the meat of the game, where you gather cards, place them into your tableau over here to be able to earn more bits and pieces, to be able to go ahead and get more stuff. Where you start your little tower over each turn matters because that's where you're buying cards. So if you sit there and think, hey, I need more arches next round, well, this is a great card, or this is a great card, but you need to make sure you can start there. In fact, over here, with a simple pivot of my starting piece over here, I could have placed it in dark green and taken that card had I wanted. And so you're going to have players making those small little rotations as they work their way backwards to try to go ahead and build out a structure that both gives them points, the monkey points to be able to buy cards, or monkey dollars, monkey points, and then also try to figure out which cards are going to help the tableau the most. So the tableau building gives you a little thing to go for over there. The game has a puzzly feel to it as you try to figure out where you can place something down this grid in a way that's going to reward you. And then ultimately, at the end of the game, you're going to have a nice, beautiful structure that's going to be like the fun little thing that you as a players have all built together, because this does have a nice aesthetic look to the game that it's basically a coffee table piece that you're building out as you play. So that's all in the good camp. The bad camp, unfortunately, they only have two things to go through, but they are big deals, at least for me. The first is that the game loop is very repetitive. What you do every single turn involves grabbing a bunch of Lego bricks and then just trying to work your way higher in the game. There's not a lot of nuance to what you're doing. You're doing the same action again and again and again. The only real nuance is the pieces you're getting effectively through the slight shift in your tableau as you adjust, replace, or gather cards. But the core idea is gather those pieces, try to build a tower that goes higher and higher. Now, this on its own would not be the end of the world. There are a lot of games that have repetitive things you're trying to do, except the second problem is that thing that you are trying to do. Personally, I shouldn't say personally, as well as with all the players I've played this game with, I find it a spatially confusing, not that rewarding process. So, a game that is repetitive in what it's trying to do, not the end of the world. There's a ton of polyomino games out there that have you placing polyominoes to try to figure out the patterns, but you're doing the same thing every single turn, but there's a spatial reward element to it. I find, unfortunately, in Monkey Palace, I know that I have not enjoyed the spatial element because of the slight nuance of the way these Lego bricks work, which is effectively, naturally, it is intuitive to build your way up. But if you try to build your way up, it's very hard to figure out the endpoint of where you're going. So instead, you want to build your way down. But if you build your way down, there's not a guarantee you can work your way towards where you're going. There is something spatially frustrating about trying to figure out how to optimally use your pieces to build a single staircase that goes as high as it can. You can't save pieces round to round, so anything you don't use, you lose. And so there's this constant weird pressure of how to try to optimize around what you have, not wasting, not overspending, not just figuring out what to do in the game that is never... It's never that rewarding to go through the process. It is rewarding to get to the end. So when you figure out your staircase, sure, boom, I used all my pieces. I managed to get as high as I could. I got 6 points. Excellent. That part's rewarding. The parts along the way are just kind of fiddling with stuff and constant. I mean, you saw me do it in the game, and that has been my entire experience playing the game. Again, not just me, but with the others I played it with. It is spatially frustrating to try to figure out how to arrange these without taking forever to do so. The early turns are very easy, but as soon as you get past those early turns, I don't find the core action you are doing in this game to be rewarding. I find the core thing you are doing in Monkey Palace to be spatially frustrating and then repetitive in the sense that that is what you're doing every single turn you play. The end result of the game is great. The concept of the tableau building, that's great. The core thing you're doing in the game, not so great, unfortunately. As far as what I can see others not liking, I kind of touched upon this in the rules. I think the game is just more complicated than it needs to be. That's more in the what I can see others not liking, because the game is not that complicated compared to other games I play, so it wasn't the hardest to pick up and learn. I just felt when I'm comparing this to even games out there like Cascadia, I think Cascadia is a simpler, more intuitive game to learn. I think this was just weirdly structured and phrased that I don't think it's going to be easy for your target audience to pick up and play this game. As far as final thoughts on Monkey Palace, I'm very disappointed in this one, unfortunately. I really wanted to like this game. My kids love Lego. They also play board games, but I'm definitely obviously the board game person in the family. My kids love Lego. I was like, great, we're going to get a Lego board game. They're going to have a ton of fun with it. They like it less than other board games, and they like it less than other Lego. Rather than being, the best combination of both, it kind of ends up being the jack of all trades, master of none. Regular Lego is more satisfying, regular board games are more satisfying. This iteration of a Lego board game, we didn't unfortunately find that compelling. And I played this both with my kids and with my game group to try to experience it both at, enjoying it with a younger audience as well as enjoying it with, regular gamers. And it's been the same experience in both, unfortunately. Now, obviously my experience or our experience will not necessarily be yours, but our experience was mostly frustrating. It's a game experience that I don't really want to play. It's repetitive, not overly rewarding, and spatially frustrating, which all combines to a game that I really wanted to like, and unfortunately it doesn't work for me, although I can see others enjoying this. This is not a game that I think is an absolute do not get, do not try. It could well be you'll play it and just not find the same challenge with that spatial element to the game. If you find that spatial element rewarding, most of my complaints kind of disappear because the repetitive part's only really an issue because the thing you're repeating is frustrating, if that makes sense. Ultimately, for me, this is a 2 out of 5. A game that I really wanted to like, but a game that left me hanging, unfortunately. As far as other game recommendations, if you want a game that's going to have you building up structures in a way that actually feels a bit more interesting as you make different decisions every single turn, I recommend checking out Junk Art, an oldie but a goodie that has you trying to build upwards just more interestingly. And if you want a game that kind of mirrors the tableau feel of what Monkey Palace is trying to do, but it does so in a polyomino engine instead, I think this game does share some core DNA with Project L, but whereas Project L, the main element is fitting polyomino pieces in a way that I found very rewarding, Monkey Palace unfortunately let it didn't really give me that same feeling. In any case, then until next time, I'm Alex Radcliffe from Board Game Co. I hope you enjoyed this video, and as always, I hope you have a good one.